offers a choice. It offers an option for everyone globally. There is over 2 billion, I think it's 3 billion now, unbanked individuals. Even if an investor is not familiar with blockchain, we're here to do as well is to support and to help educate and make the investment process as comfortable as possible and seamless as possible. So what Bitcoin offers is an alternative. It gives another option. It gives a diversification to that potential risk.
Hello and welcome to Starbucks Interviews, a video series where we invite industry leaders to discuss the future of tokenization, crypto and fintech markets. And today with us is Michelle Desmarais, who is CEO and co-founder at Query Dynamics, one of our clients who is doing a disruptive project in tokenizing crypto mining operations. Michelle, it's a pleasure to have you with us today.
Thanks, Boris. Nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
And getting straight to the point, could you please tell our viewers about Query Dynamics, about your vision and what you're planning to do?
Absolutely. So again, thanks for having us. Really appreciate the opportunity here to talk about Query Dynamics and our upcoming security token launch. So Query Dynamics is a Bitcoin mining operation. We've actually been in operation successfully for over a year. And we've recently launched our hosting too as well. So we do have a hosting division, which helped get us through the bear market. So because we're a new startup, it's, to be honest with you, it's been really tough on startups in this industry over the last year or so, just due to the economy, due to the nature. Yeah, absolutely right. But it shows, and what you have to do is you have to work together as a company and come up with strategies. For us, it was hosting, and we were able to successfully launch that. So that was able to get us through the bear market without having to deplete our reserves. So not only did we successfully launch that portion of our operation, but we were able to continue to grow our inventory for our Bitcoin mining operation. So yeah, we're pretty excited about that. And now that we've hit this, so from an economy standpoint, it's still a difficult time, especially with the recent banking crisis with central banks. And there's definitely a lack of trust that we're starting to see in the central banking industry, which is really helping to provide additional awareness for cryptocurrencies, namely Bitcoin. And people are starting to get truly interested in the technology, which is great. And it's been what we're waiting for. Because one of the other areas that Query Dynamics is really passionate about is education in the industry. So I personally volunteer for C4, which is an education platform for cryptocurrencies. And I've been working with them for, I'd say, about 6 to 8 months or so. And our focus is to help educate newcomers to the space. Because not only is this an exciting and incredibly valuable technology, but it can be people can be apprehensive getting into this space. So we provide guidance and definitely provide best practices from a security perspective for newcomers coming into cryptocurrency. So not only if you're looking to invest within a Query Dynamics, you're not only investing in a cryptocurrency mining operation and hosting operation, but also in a company that is passionate about the industry and in particular passionate about educating newcomers to the space and ensuring a safe and secure environment.
Thank you for the presentation. Yeah, this is really heartwarming to hear that you're also contributing to broader education. And this is generally one of the things that I like about crypto, is that we have a different approach to doing business, much more focused on purpose and contributing to ecosystems and building collaborations instead of mindless competition and profit seeking.
Absolutely. And we're really starting to see that in this space. So everyone is really open to collaboration and education. Education is a really big focus right now in this industry, because to be honest with you, the way that this industry grows is through adoption. And in order to support adoption, people really need to be educated, because there's a lot of false information out there. There's a lot of I guess, apprehension in getting into this space because people are worried about getting scammed, for example. And that's one focus that, that from an education perspective, we're really trying to to help clarify and help support. Because to be honest with you, scammers go where the money is. It doesn't matter if it's fiat dollars. It doesn't matter if it's cryptocurrency. Scammers are going to be everywhere. So it's really just ensuring that users have appropriate background and knowledge to support coming into this environment safely. But at the end of the day, we're all working together to make sure that we can be successful in this space. So we do find that other mining operations, which really wasn't the norm, I would say, maybe even 2 years ago, there was probably a lot more secrecy in the environment. But now everyone is really open to helping each other. For example, if we need assistance with procuring additional electrical equipment, if we need a deal on transformers, or we've got some questions on a particular area of our building that maybe needs some airflow redesign, we've got contacts within the industry now that are open to just having a conversation, reviewing information and sharing information, and we do the same as well. So it's an incredibly collaborative environment now, which is incredibly exciting to be a part of.
That resonates with my experience too. If we need to get some advice or collaborate, we can simply text a CEO of a competitor in Telegram, and it resolves the question in like 10 minutes. So it's much deeper and much faster collaboration compared to any other industry I'm familiar with. And I agree that adoption is one of the most important things towards which we are working. And I believe this is part of what Puri Dynamics is doing, making investing in Bitcoin mining and generally participation in Bitcoin mining easier for a common person, because probably operations became much more complex and sophisticated compared to what they were 5 or even 10 years ago. So now intermediaries like you are necessary for a common public to be involved in mining operations.
Yep. And what we love about this is that because we're passionate about the environment, about the technology, blockchain technology, which is what Bitcoin runs on. So it was really exciting for us to have an opportunity to present something to investors that leveraged this technology. And that was exciting for us, and it was important for us because it not only gave us an opportunity to extend a new diverse investment option, but it also gave us an opportunity to extend education further. So even if an investor is not familiar with blockchain or not as familiar with Bitcoin, but has heard about it and is really understanding and starting to hear a lot more about the benefits of Bitcoin, that we're here to do as well is to support and to help educate and make the investment process as comfortable as possible and seamless as possible, but also getting into the Bitcoin space. We're here to help support that also. So there's different things that when you start to get into this space that maybe seems simple at first, but you might need a bit of guidance, and that's making sure that you understand what a wallet is, how to use a wallet, and how to use a wallet safely. So those are also services that we want to be able to provide to our investors, and that we provide to anyone really in the space in general. We do, we've met with different economic development personnel, especially where our existing mining operation is, or one of our flagship operations. We've met with the Economic Development Committee. We explained what Bitcoin is. We explained what blockchain is. We explained what this technology can do, especially for a community, especially rural communities. So what we're finding right now in this industry is that there's a really big promotion and benefit really to extending this technology and this industry out to especially rural areas where they can have where their people in that community can have access to companies and jobs in the tech industry, which they may not have had. That may not have been an option previously. So we're really providing key tech jobs and experience and skill sets that wouldn't normally be there. So it's exciting that these economic development organizations and committees they're starting to look now to our industry, and there's not such a cloak of darkness over it, right? People are really open to understanding it and want to understand what Bitcoin is and what blockchain technology is and how it can benefit their community and and individuals within their community.
I like that we are starting to focus more on real world applications and on vulnerable populations, because I tend to agree with common critique that in the last the couple years, crypto has been focused too much on purely financial applications and on speculation. This is true, and it's probably normal for any kind of exciting technology, but it's time for us to focus on the fundamentals and on the
Yes.
real value it can bring.
Yep, absolutely. There's so many applications to the blockchain technology. We really are at the cusp of a very exciting technology right now. And we will start to see its application spread far further than just cryptocurrency, just Bitcoin, just currency in general. There's a number of applications. Your organization is doing one with security tokens and offering another option to investors, an option that, again, we were incredibly excited to utilize because there's a number of different, it allows us to reach investors we may not have normally been able to reach. And when you go through the process, you'll understand really just how easy it is. You don't have to go through a slew of lawyers and go and walk in and sign a document, or God forbid, use faxing or mail something out to move that share around. So it really starts to to advance that option with investors.
And what is your view, continuing our conversation on central banks and current banking crisis you mentioned previously? In your opinion, how will this impact broader crypto adoption and specifically Bitcoin? And as a result, what impact will it have on Query's business?
Yeah, so to be honest with you, we see an incredible opportunity here, and we always have. I mean, this is not something we're just jumping into. We never just jumped on the bandwagon. Our founders have been interested in this technology because we've been in the technology sector for our whole careers. But what I think we'll really start to see here, because there truly is a lack of trust right now within central banks, and I think a greater understanding of how central banks really do operate and the risk with inflation. So you really can't print money and not expect inflation. It's not mathematically possible. But what I think people are really starting to understand then is that the reverse to that, or the alternate option to that, is Bitcoin. You can't just print that. There will never be any more than 21 million. There won't. That is how that's how Bitcoin works. That's how the program works. It will not change. If it changes, it becomes something different. Bitcoin Cash is an example of that. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. That's an incredibly different concept to central banks and fiat, because what Federal Reserves do is they print money when they get into this type of situation that we saw with central banks and the requirement to bail out some of those major central banking companies. But again, when you print money, you have inflation, and I think that's something that I think individuals are starting to see, that they don't have control over that. And there's also, I think, not only is there distrust, but I think there's a bit of fear too as well with where their investments are right now, and they're having all of their investment in fiat. So what Bitcoin offers is an alternative. It gives another option. It gives a diversification to that potential risk. And I think that investors especially will start to see this benefit, and that what we're also hoping within this industry is we'll start to see real world adoption then of Bitcoin, which will be a complete game changer, I think, for the industry.
So your view is that primarily value of Bitcoin in future will be derived from its deflationary nature, making it an inflation hedge, or do you believe there will be even more applications beside that?
There's always been other applications beside that. That's just one benefit that we're truly seeing now, because people are living it, people are seeing it. But from an application perspective, and the reason that I got into this was that it offers a choice, it offers an option for everyone globally. There is over 2 billion, I think it's 3 billion now, unbanked individuals. Can you imagine just how restrictive that is? That removes almost all options to be able to take care of your family, take care of yourself. Women predominantly, I think, are at risk of that in a lot of different nations. But this gives an option. This gives a choice, and that's what I always felt with Bitcoin and with cryptocurrencies, but Bitcoin specifically, because I truly that's one of the first cryptocurrencies, I started to get interested in Ethereum being the other one. But it gives that option to everyone to be able to make a living, to take care of yourself. The other exciting part I liked about it is just how easy it makes it to work across the globe. So I can send payment to you, Boris. I can send it to anywhere without having to have an intermediary in between, not only taking a cut, but also controlling when and if I can even have that transaction occur with my own money. and that's what, when I first started to get interested in this technology, that was incredibly exciting to me. And I think that has always been one of the benefits, and that is part of the education perspective too, is to help individuals understand that it's not just the inflationary hedge, if you will, but it's the opportunity that you have when you have this as an option for currency, just the flexibility and freedom it provides.
This is so true. I remember once, a couple of years ago, I had to receive payment from Ireland in fiat, and I couldn't do it for probably like 2 months. It was utterly awful. Then we just done transaction in USDT in 10 minutes when the counterparty finally understood that it's a better option.
Yep.
So yeah, this resonates with me a lot. And I believe in developed countries, we really don't appreciate how privileged we are to have this developed financial system, how hard it is when you don't really have job opportunities around you, and there is so much you can do even at Upwork or other freelance services to work online, but you can't accept payment, and how much this truly limits you. So the potential for improving human well-being here is truly stunning.
It's exponential, because this is just the tip too as well. Blockchain technology, and there's applications obviously on top of it, fintech. I think what we're seeing now is really just the tip of the iceberg. We're going to see some incredible advancements in this space, especially within fintech, utilizing this technology. And it's going to make our lives easier, and it's going to make things more accessible. And that's what's exciting to me at the end of the day.
Getting back to Quarry Dynamics.
Yes.
Could you tell us, please, more about your team who is behind this project?
Oh, absolutely. So we're founders predominantly in the tech space, but myself and two of my colleagues that I've worked with on multiple technology projects. So we're predominantly in the data center space, which is such a compliment, obviously, to moving into mining, because a lot of the same concepts, a lot of the same fundamentals come into play to be able to operate a successful mining operation. So I think that's what drew ourselves together. I always had an interest in Bitcoin. It was something that we would talk about. And then I think what happened is that we just all of a sudden, light bulb moment, we've got this interest in Bitcoin in this other industry. We've got a incredibly advanced skill set, because we've all been in the industry for at least 20 years, 15, 20 years. And when we bring the two together, we just thought this was such a great opportunity. We also then partnered with a very successful entrepreneur who was able to come in and help us then pull the company together and pull our business case and pull the elements that we needed to create a successful business and mining operation together. And that's just, our dynamic is so incredible, because we've got, not only do we have expertise in the data center area, but we have other skill sets that complement each other. So I'm also a program project manager by nature. So I started in the IT industry and then moved my way up to consulting and project program management, which obviously comes in handy when you do a startup, because there's a lot of different elements to a startup. It's speed to execution. It's ensuring that you adhere to your budgeting and to your funding that's available to you. It's also what allowed us to continue to operate successfully during a bear market, because you have to be able to manage what can be a fairly tight budget and get creative where you need to bring in other cash flows, such as our mining hosting operation. But then we also have, obviously, we've got our entrepreneur that's also one of our founders that helped us to keep that growth mindset. Which was one of the reasons why we're looking at the security token now, to be able to not only provide this opportunity to investors to work with Quarry as we grow, but also to have an opportunity to get into this space. And one of the, I think I'll just segue just a little bit, just to kind of give another benefit of the security token. But one of the benefits of investing in a mining company is that there's two ways you can really obtain Bitcoin. You can buy it on a cryptocurrency exchange, or you can mine it. Mining it does take a significant amount of capital. It does take a skill set to keep the mining server in operation running, because these systems run at a very high rate, which produces a lot of heat, which needs airflow, and it also utilizes a significant amount of power too as well. So it's not typically very cost effective to do that individually on your own. So being able to invest into a mining operation, you're getting into a pool. You're being able to leverage the benefits of the profitability of the mining operation as a whole, without having to be concerned with taking care of that operation, worrying about the electricity, stable, clean electricity, about the airflow and keeping the miner up and running, or any fixes to the miner, because they do run at a very high rate. There are things that we do have to do, obviously maintenance, to keep them up and running at their top performance. So all of that does take a certain amount of skill set that the typical investor wouldn't have. So this gives an opportunity to get into that environment. The other part of the exchange, though, so you can obviously go and buy it, and you can go to an exchange, but the exchange, as we've seen, carries a certain amount of risk associated to it. So that's one area that when we do our education curriculums or our education videos, we make sure that we know that the safest way is to have your own wallet and be your own custodian. But the more accessible way, and the way that most individuals go now, is a cryptocurrency exchange. But the risk associated with that is, and it's a common term that's in this industry. Hopefully everybody will remember this. If you're a newcomer, this is what we always tell them: so not your keys, not your coin. So you lend a risk of having your cryptocurrency on an exchange that it may be lost, because that's not something that you control. So this is really gives another option to an investor that, from an industry perspective, is a safer option to be able to manage your Bitcoin. Because what we do is with the security token, it's a profit sharing token, so that the mined inventory at the end of the year will get distributed out to the investors directly to their wallet. And that's something that we will help provide education and guidance for, but it will be their wallet, just from a security perspective, but we will provide that guidance so that they're getting into this industry correctly, or shouldn't say correctly, but in the way that is most recommended in this industry. And that's something we will help guide them with, and make sure everybody is educated and comfortable, if not already, because we know that some investors will come in here and they've already had their experience in the cryptocurrency industry and very comfortable and ready to jump right in. But there might be some investors that might be a bit more apprehensive, and that's where our education focus will come into play. But this way, you're having access to this incredible technology, and more importantly, this currency, in a safe manner, and not dependent or have that added risk of a cryptocurrency exchange.
And I would assume that investment risk is also lower if you invest in mining in this way, because if you buy Bitcoin at the cryptocurrency exchange, your capacity to get profit is contingent on Bitcoin rising, on Bitcoin price rising in future. While when you invest in mining, all you need to, for this investment to be profitable, it's for the cost of the Bitcoin to be above the mining cost. So it doesn't necessarily need to rise in the time period when you are going to sell it. So it's actually probably less risky.
Yep. Excellent. Yep. Good point. Thank you, Boris. So I don't know if you want me to talk a little bit about the token. So we do security token. We do have, we've got our hard cap and our soft cap options. The hard cap does have a projected return on investment of approximately 68%. So, and what we've done is we've been incredibly conservative on the value of Bitcoin year over year. So this is a three-year token, and in the first year, which will be 2024. So at the end of 2024, we're looking at approximately $80,000 to $88,000 value of Bitcoin, which at the current rate is incredibly conservative. Then it goes up from there. So it's about 145 in year 2, which is 2025. And keep in mind, that's after the halving too as well, which when you do some historical analysis, typically the value of Bitcoin doubles after the halving, which is in 2024. And then at the end of the token term, it's approximately 230,000 that we're projecting. Again, we went fairly conservative. We made sure we went through appropriate analysis to provide that projection in order to provide as accurate as possible return on investment.
That sounds fascinating. And what I generally like about Quarry Dynamics and about many of our clients, that the teams behind the projects are very professional. It's not like the 3 kids came together to do their first business. It's people with decades of experience and very serious approach to financial modeling and the risk management. So it was definitely fascinating to hear from you about your experience, about all the precautions you are taking, in general about your thoughts on the industry and when we are heading. So overall, I obviously understand that many figures are speculative, but if we were to speculate, what do you think could be the projected return for investors in Quarry Dynamics token in 3 years?
Yeah, so the 3-year projection on our hard cap, it's over 60%, so it's around that 68% return on investment. And then on our soft cap, it's approximately 50% return on your investment. So again, we went with as conservative numbers as we could, understanding the industry and understanding the history of the value of Bitcoin year over year. But that's what makes this exciting. That's what makes this opportunity exciting for investors. You won't find that with a general bond investment. So it's a diversification opportunity. It's an opportunity to get into the Bitcoin industry with a company that is not only proven to be successful, especially operating during a bear market and continuing to accumulate our inventory during that time, but also a company that is passionate about educating newcomers to the space and about supporting this technology as we see it grow.
That's truly fascinating. Michelle, thank you for joining us today on this interview. It was great to hear about your progress and all the fascinating things you're doing. And I'm very hopeful about your educational efforts and bringing Bitcoin to the masses and especially to vulnerable populations.
Thank you, Boris. We're excited as well. And thank you as well for partnering with us. We wouldn't have been possible without Stobox. So we really appreciate it. And all the support that you guys have provided.
And to everybody who would like to check out Quarry Dynamics, we will leave the link to the website in the video description. So make sure to see whether this is something you could be interested in. And as always, don't forget to like this video to tell us and YouTube algorithm that this is something you would like to see more of. Let us know in the comments your thoughts on what's going to happen with Bitcoin in the future. Stay tuned and see you in the next interview.